Okay, first things first, since I'm still waiting for the postman to bring the valve cover gasket, I do have the Vtec gasket. That's the part number. This is from O'Reilly's. And the Vtec solenoid itself, I'm not too sure if it's leaking from there or not, but this is the gasket right here. So it is actually located right behind over here. So I'm gonna try my best to get the angle right and show you guys. But it will be a good time since you're replacing this gasket. Might as well replace that gasket too. Alright, so if you guys could see, it is that thing over there with these two clips coming in. So that is your Vtec solenoid right next to your exhaust manifold right here. Alright, so it's going to be kind of hard to put it at an angle so you guys can see, just because of how much of a tight space it is right there. So I'm gonna leave the camera right here and I'm gonna reach in there just by feeling my fingers to see where all the bolts are and take it out from there. Alright, first things first, I'm gonna remove that black box just to get out of the way. That way I can reach my hand down inside from the side over there and just have a little bit of room to work with. Alright, and here you see basically the black box from this side. So there's actually two 10mm bolts that you'll have to remove, and there's also a clip you have to disconnect just to get it out of the way. So from this angle, it was really tough to find the bolts. I had to just basically feel it with my fingers, and once I found all three of them, I was able to get a long socket 10mm ratchet down there, and basically you have to put it at an angle. If not, then it slides off, and it was a pain. This took me a while. Not only that, but I had to use a breaker bar just to break the bolts loose. Alright, it took a while, but this is how you could tell it's been leaking. I took it out and automatically you see oil on there. Alright, and in case you guys are wondering, this is a 10mm. There's actually 3 of them, so there's 2 on top and then 1 on the bottom. So yep, that's how you would take it out. And it took me a while because this one's actually sitting at like an angle like this. So if you couldn't get it at the right angle and you try to just torque it to loosen it, it will just slip off. So that's what it was doing to me a lot, especially with that tight room. So just a heads up. And in this scene, basically what I'm using is just a 10mm socket and just using that to loosen up the rest of the bolts. And with that, I was able to get it off. And then in here, you see me just pinching the clip off of those wires and getting it out of the way. All right. So as you can see, it's a little bit dirty. And that's how the oh dang. So that's how the mounting holes are. 2 on top, 1 on the bottom. This one is just a little plastic clip to hold the wiring in. So this one, you do have to take it off in order to take everything off. There's also another one just like that down here, but it's just clips, and then these are the actual 3 bolts. So as you can see up close, you can see that the gasket has definitely worn out. Look at that, just how flat it is. But for the most part, look at my screen is still pretty clean, so that is a good sign. So I'm gonna go ahead and just spray this down with brake cleaner, get all this gunk around it off, and put in the new gasket and then put it back in. And then here I'm using a brake cleaner, and that's just an absorbent pad in there. Just makes cleaning up a lot easier. And then with that, I was able to just grab a pick and just pick at the gasket and able to lift it up and throw it away. Alright, so as you can see, I was able to get the gasket off. Just letting it air dry for a bit right now. But that's the gasket. You guys can see there's a little bit of particle in there, but it's not too bad. For the most part, the screen is still free flowing. But as you can see, brake cleaner, and it looks a lot cleaner. I didn't do this side, but yeah, the only thing when you're spraying it, just make sure you avoid getting brake cleaners into your terminals. The good news is that it does dry quick, so yep. And then I think all these black marks inside are just a melted gasket that came on there, so I'm gonna try my best to take those off and then fit on the new one. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to fit the new one on. Cleaned it the best I could. Should just pop right on. And just like that. Gotta push it in, make sure it stays. All right, there we go. Looks a lot better now. And if you see, the gasket is not flat, it's actually raised up a little bit. So that's how you could tell if the gasket is still good or not. Because just like earlier where it was flat, that's where it was causing the oil leaks. And just like that, we're gonna go ahead and reverse put this in. So basically the whole process is reversed. And before that, I'm just gonna grab a rag and just clean off the back over there, because I know some oil was able to seep out. So I know this is a bad angle, sorry about that. It's just the best angle that I could get for you guys. All right, here we go. And just like how I took it out, basically it's just doing the reverse and putting them back in. The only thing that took me a while was I wasn't able to see down there, so I had to basically just stick a bolt through the solenoid and then try to fit it down there to where I was able to find one of the holes to get it started. And from there I found one, got started, and then grabbed the other one, screw it in, and that way I was able to fit all three in. All right, finally got it tying down. Took me a while to find all three of those holes to line it up, but once I found it, I was able to get it in. And I don't know the exact torque specs for them, but I know for 10 millimeters I just use the single hand tiny method. So you hold it from up here instead of down here, because down here you get more leverage, but you just hold it from up here and just tying it down. And this has worked every time for me for 10 millimeter bolts. All right, and once you get all those tying down, just don't forget to plug those plugs back in. There's 2 of them, and then there's also 2 clips that plugs back in. And you should be all done with the Vtec gasket.